Hey guys, it's Kevin here, and welcome back to my Ninjago discussion video. And today, I'll be reviewing episode 6 of season 11, The News Never Sleeps, sharing my overall thoughts on it, and scoring it out of 10. Without further ado, let's get into it. The episode starts with Little Nelson, or Nelson, as I wouldn't call him Little Nelson because he's not little anymore, waking up early in the morning and was in a rush for his new job as a paperboy. His mom had reminded him to wear a helmet, and the things he had to do when crossing an intersection. By the time he arrived at the workplace, some of the kids had made fun of him a bit, saying that he wouldn't make it alive at the end of the day on his job. The boss made announcements and introduced Nelson to Antonia, saying that he'll be delivering newspapers with her. Everyone, including Nelson and Antonia, began their rowdy efforts to deliver newspapers. Nelson and Antonia encountered the fire fangs that landed from the sky, very much to Nelson's concern. They even got past Pixel, who was fighting against one of the Firefangs in her Samurai X-Mech. During the lunch break, Nelson questions Antonia about the things that happened in Ninjago City, and she gives him an answer in which she had referred to the Sons of Garmadon. She had given some of her sandwich to Nelson after his sandwich was burned out. Antonia also said to Nelson about everyone doing their part, and that their job is important too by letting others know what's going on. Again, Nelson and Antonia went delivering newspapers and passing more Firefangs. That's when they came across Clutch Powers, who fell from the sky and warns them about the ninjas being trapped in the pyramid, before being taken away by an ambulance. At first, Antonia was reluctant to head over to the monster with Nelson to warn Wu, but persuaded by Nelson with her own words, she decided to come with him as a result. Nelson and Antonia had to pass the part of the Route 23 highway that was destroyed. They made it over to the monastery, and Nelson tells Wu that the ninjas are in danger. Wu referenced him for Lloyd and thanked both of them for informing him. After that, Nelson and Antonia went back to Ninjago City. For my overall thoughts, I felt that this episode had done well with the return of Nelson, since we last saw him in Season 6 Skybound, and the introduction of Antonia. There's been a lot of action this episode, especially with Nelson and Antonia's efforts of delivering the newspapers, and for them to make a perilous journey to the monastery to warn Wu. I thought it was done wonderfully, and I really like how the writers, or whoever else came up with that idea, are taking a new approach to one of the episodes. Especially for this episode that's under civilian perspective, it focuses on these two characters even though it focuses mostly on Nelson. And we'll be getting something similar to this in more of the following episodes. And I loved how Antonia had referenced the Sons of Garmadon while she was talking to Nelson during their lunch break. I will be doing a video discussing whether or not that Antonia had connection to Harumi as an older cousin, and the same goes for Wu, who referred Nelson to Lloyd. I also liked how we get to know more about Nelson, especially with seeing more character development out of him. We see in this episode that Nelson can be quite wimpy and determined, in which I may go further in detail with that in the character analysis video that I will be making for him. We get to see one of Nelson's family members, like his mom. I really like how she had referenced his past injuries, such as the one from Season 6, especially when she told him that she wouldn't want him to get any more boo-boos. I thought it was quite cute. About Antonia, I also liked how we get to see her as a character. Unlike Nelson, she is more confident and most likely fearless when having to deal with a difficult situation. I even liked how she told Nelson that even though they are not ninjas, thus that the job is important, which everyone needs to know what's going on. Now, what Antonia said to Nelson was my most favorite part in this episode, and I would do a character analysis about her as well. Now, what I didn't like in this episode was the fact that Nelson had gotten worried about the Firefangs falling from the sky. I know it may be part of his character, and because of the fact that he hasn't been to the city very much, but I find that to be annoying for some parts. I really don't know why, but it may have something to do with his voice. I also thought that the part with some kids making fun of Nelson on his first day was kinda underwhelming, and not to mention that this episode misses out the actions with the ninjas, even though Nelson along with Antonia had went on a journey to the monastery. It was great. My overall score for this episode is 7 out of 10. Alright, that should do it for the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with everyone you know. In the description below, you'll find a link to my Twitter account, and you can let me know what you think about this episode in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.